5 years ago, a girl rented an old building in the village that nobody wanted, and she turned it into a guest house. She made it a place that stayed fully booked 24 hours a day, every single day. But the owner of that building had been watching all of this with his own interests in mind. One day, he suddenly came to her and said that their rental agreement was ending at the close of the month, so he would not be renting the building to her anymore. He was taking it back to run it himself. Hearing this, the girl reminded him that for years she had been handling everything on her own: the electricity, the plumbing, the waterproofing, the drainage, the ventilation, the decor, and all matters related to the guests. She also reminded him that from the very first year until now, she had paid the increasing rent on time every single time. But the owner said arrogantly that rent is rent, and the building still belongs to him. Then, putting her down, he said that if it weren't for his building, her guest house would never have been successful. He even went so far as to say that men are afraid of women who work too hard. The girl calmly told her friend that the beds, mattresses, hot water systems, and the entire drainage and ventilation system were registered in her name. Most importantly, the infinity pool system on the rooftop, the very thing that protected the entire building from moisture, foul smell, and waterlogging, belonged to her alone. Without it, this place could never remain what it had become. So she began looking for a new location and started making plans to take her entire setup with her, because she knew that a working system must not be left idle for long. Her guest house would do even better than before. Meanwhile, the owner's son had already started dreaming of making the rooftop infinity pool the biggest attraction. He was fully convinced that their business would thrive even without the girl. The girl soon arrived to look at a new place. The owner there warned her upfront that the building had several problems. Vehicles could not reach it easily, the rooms had a damp smell, and the bathrooms gave off a foul odor. The girl smiled quietly. These were exactly the kinds of problems she had solved before. She knew the drainage, she knew the ventilation, she knew how to turn a forgotten, unwanted building into something people lined up for. She negotiated a long-term agreement with the new owner, fair terms, written clearly with protections for both sides. Then she got to work. Within 3 months, the damp smell was gone. Within 6, the bathrooms were spotless, and the road to the building had been cleared and paved with the cooperation of neighboring shops who were happy to see new guests arriving. Within a year, the new guest house was fully booked, 24 hours a day every single day. Back at the old building, the owner and his son struggled from the very first week. Without the drainage system, the rooftop pool leaked into the walls. Without the ventilation setup, the rooms began to smell. Without the hot water systems, guests complained and left bad reviews. The infinity pool, their biggest dream, sat unfinished and filled with stagnant water. Bookings dried up. The phone stopped ringing. One evening, the owner passed by the girl's new guest house and saw cars parked outside, lights glowing warmly from every window, and guests laughing on a small rooftop terrace she had built from scratch. He stood there for a long moment. He had thought the building was the business. He had never understood that the business was her.